Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm the designer of Sarah's Singularity, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up the game. So the first step in setting up Sarah's Singularity is to choose your time zones. There are lots of different time zones to choose from in the box, and you can do this randomly by putting the cards together and shuffling them. Maybe one mission from each zone and shuffling them. But in this case, I've pre-selected the time zones for a 3-player game. And they are going to be Southern Pangaea, Age of the Dinosaurs, North America, Ice Age, Forest of Dean, Norman, England, and modern day 1969 Toronto Rock and Roll Revival Festival. So these are the mission cards that come with each time zone. So each time zone has a handful of mission cards. And these get shuffled and placed in what is known as the mission row in chronological order. Once you've set up the mission cards, you bring out the companions. Each time zone has its own set of companions. Here's the Southern Pangaea. Companions, here are the companions who are native to Ice Age. The companions native to Norman, England, Forest of Dean, and those native to the Toronto Rock and Roll Festival. And you can tell that they're native because they have matching iconography. So these companions all get shuffled together. So once shuffled, we're going to create what is known as the prime row, which is a set of 7 companions on a side. And these work as sort of as a marker for where you are in the game, kind of a time marker. But they also show you where Sarah Prime is going to be traveling to each turn. We're going to draw a mission card from each zone, which will show you the mission that is active in that particular zone, and then a companion is going to be placed into each zone as well. And then each player gets dealt a hand of 3 companions to start, representing the companions that are traveling with them. Each zone also has a number of zone tokens. So these are rewards that you earn when you rescue companions lost in time. And so you're going to want to place the zone tokens into play near each mission card so they're easily accessible by all players. Each player also gets a number of zone selectors. So in this version of the game we have card selectors, and there's 1 card for each time zone. Players are going to get these and they're going to be placing them face down to show where they travel to. So each player gets a set of zone selector cards. Each time zone also has a set of objectives. So here's a Toronto Rock and Roll objective, secret objective, and a Norman Dean secret objective. In the advanced game, you also shuffle the objectives and pass them out to each player. And then they choose from those objectives. And then finally, each character is issued a Sarah Prime card. So each character in Sarah's Singularity, or each player in Sarah's Singularity, is a alternate future version of Sarah Prime. And who they start off with is randomly determined. So in this case in play we have Sarah the Agent, Sarah the Engineer, and Sarah the Kidnapper. And then we use 1 card as a prime marker. There's also a first player token. This normally goes to the person who sits down first to play the game, but it can go to any player randomly chosen. And that's how you set up the game. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to play Sarah Singularity, and we have the game already set up, and we're going to go through a round with 3 different players. So we have a 4-player game, or a 3-person game, so there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 time zones. There's 1 time zone plus number of players. Each player has their own unique Sarah. The Sarah prime rows are laid out, and our different cards are ready to be drawn over here. This particular Sarah is the current chronologist. We have our zone tokens up there. So each turn, what's going to happen is each player is going to choose which time zone to travel to using their selector cards. And they're going to be traveling to these different time zones trying to get points. Now, the way you get points in Sarah Singularity is by solving missions. So you can see these different missions have different point values, the bottom right. And the way that you solve missions is by meeting these criteria. So each turn, as a player, you can take a character from a companion card from someone who's traveling with you, and you can put them down. And you can also pick someone up. So that's something you can always do. In addition, if you are traveling to a zone where you have, let's see if I can find an example of this, where you have more than one companion that belongs. So for instance, Sarah the Agent has 2 Toronto Rock and Roll Festival Revival companions. So she can put both of those down because they both belong if she travels to this zone. But if she tried to play someone outside of zone where they don't belong, then she's limited to 1. So each turn you're going to be putting companions down and picking them up in order to try to solve these mission criteria. That's the first way you get points. The second way that you get points is by rescuing companions who are lost. So take Hannah, for instance, Hannah the Adventurer. She doesn't belong in this time zone. She's lost. She's a Southern Pangea character who's stuck in the Ice Age. So if I traveled to the Ice Age and I pick her up as part of my action, I also get one of these zone tokens, or I get a zone token that matches where she's from. Now these zone tokens are useful later on in the game because they're worth points, but they're also useful as wild. So later on, say if I picked up Hannah the Adventurer and got the zone token, and later on I traveled to Southern Pangea, I can drop this zone token down to be a wild to help me get this 4 or 5 point mission. The third way that you get points is with these scoring conditions that are on the top right sets of the cards. You have, these are science missions, and then these are fun missions. You get a bonus if you have the most science missions or the most fun missions, and then some of the characters have secret objectives. So for instance, Sarah the Gunslinger, the current Sarah the Gunslinger, has a Seize the Days secret objective. If she has more fun missions than any other type of mission, she gets a bonus. So she's going to be incentivized to score these missions. This Sarah is trying to solve missions from every single zone, take a road trip, and then this Sarah is trying to collect dinosaurs. She gets a +1 for each Southern Pangea companion in her hand at the end of the game. And she gets an extra bonus if she has Compy, which is a specific companion in her hand. So we're going to have each player take a turn, and I'll walk you through that turn. So we'll start with Sarah the Gunslinger. She's going to choose where she's going to go. Again, she wants to solve fun missions, and then she also has a gunslinger ability that allows her to cause other characters to discard cards. One of the things that's important is Sarah Prime also takes a turn every single round. And Sarah Prime, based on the prime row, so in this particular turn, she's going to drop off Sister Hannah in the Forest of Dean. And so we're going to put a Sarah card here to remind us that Sarah Prime is traveling to the Forest of Dean. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, Sarah the Gunslinger actually wants to travel to Forest of the Dean. That's one of the fun missions that she can solve. And it's worth more points than the other fun mission. And she has a card that would solve it. So she's going to travel there anyways and risk the paradox. So she's going to choose to go to Forest of Dean. So she puts her zone selector card face down in front of her. All right, so let's look at Sarah the Engineer. So Sarah the Engineer is also looking at her cards. Now she's interested in she has a couple different cards that belong in Toronto Rock and Roll Revival. And the point value isn't very good there, but she does have Shamira, who's a special ability hero card. So what she's going to do is she's going to travel there and she's going to try to use Shamira to help her out. So she's going to choose Toronto Rock and Roll Revival. And finally, you have Sarah the Agent. Sarah the Agent also has several Toronto cards, but she's got Smiley from Ice Age, and she's trying to collect dinosaur or characters from Southern Pangaea, so it'd be good to rescue these. So she's going to try for Ice Age. So now there's a paradox. We have here's Sarah Prime and Sarah the Gunslinger are going to conflict. So it isn't a player-to-player paradox, but it's a player-to-Sarah Prime paradox. So Sarah the Gunslinger, her alternate future version of herself goes away, and out comes Sarah the Pilot. So now she's going to be Sarah the Pilot. All this really means in play is her special abilities change, but that could have messed up with her plans. And then what we do is we're going to resolve the zones in order. So we're going to start with Southern Pangaea. Nothing happened in Southern Pangaea. No one traveled there. We move on to Ice Age. We have Sarah the Agent travel to the Ice Age. So she's actually going to play first. So Sarah the Ice Age. So she's going to drop off Smiley, which is going to solve that mission, and she's going to perform a rescue. So again, she's trying to collect these Southern Pangaea characters. So she's going to pick up Hannah the Adventurer, and that's going to give her a zone token from Southern Pangaea. So that Sarah the Adventurer goes into her hand, and she solves the mission. So that's a pretty good play. She actually rescued someone and solved the mission. And that is, and then she also has the ability to, she has the ability to redraw any mission card. And she is going to do that because she wants to solve more Southern Pangaea missions in the future. So she's going to use her special power to restore the fossil record, switch the missions. And then when her turn's over, a new mission comes out. This companion that she used to solve goes into the discard pile, and then a new companion comes into play. So now we have Sarah the Pilot is going to take her turn, and she's going to try to solve this mission. Now, one of the cards she has is Maud the First, and Maud has, there are different abilities that all the characters have. So Maud the First is from Northern England. She's also an explorer. Tony Hawking is a researcher. That's the green goggles. There's pilots in play, which are the blue hats. But Maud the First is a wild card. She has a jester's hat. And what's neat about the wild card is it can match any one single criteria. So Maud the First actually is a pretty powerful card. It allows her to solve the Hunt with the Earl mission just by herself. So that allows her to play Maud the First and also pick up Amintus the Cold. So she solves a mission and she gets a zone token. And she solves a fun mission, which is kind of her objective. So that's a good play for her as well. And then Maud goes into the discard pile, a new companion comes out, a new mission comes out. Finally, we hit the Toronto Rock and Roll Revival. So, and Sarah the Engineer has a special ability where she can discard a card and draw a new one. She's going to hold off on that right now because she gets to choose, the order of operations for her turn. She can put cards down first, rescue cards first, use her power first, her special power first. It's kind of up to her. What she wants to do is she can solve this mission just fine, the concert bootleg, with the two companions in play, but Shamira is a hero card whose special ability allows her to swap a mission. So she's going to use Shamira to try to see if she can get a better mission in play. So she drops Shamira, she uses the special ability, out comes an airport escort, which is great. That's actually a better deal. So that's 6 points instead of 3 points. So she's going to solve that mission instead. And then she's going to use her special ability to drop J.J. Blake as well and draw a different card and then drop to 3. And that was the end of turn 1. Okay, so turn 2. We're going to choose the zones to travel to. So let's start with Sarah the Pilot. There's a bunch of lower point scoring values, but then there's this Save the Chicken in Toronto Rock and Roll, which is with a lot of points. And even though it's not a fun mission, she really wants to try for that. She's got a special hero card, so she's Sarah the pilot's going to choose Toronto Rock and Roll this turn. Sarah the engineer is trying to solve missions from each zone. She already has a Toronto High Point, Toronto Rock and Roll. She thinks other people might be trying to go there, and she wants to keep her power, which allows her to do a lot of effective hand management. So she is going to choose a totally different zone. She's going to go to, she'll go to Ice Age. Ice Age will be a good call for her. Let's find her Ice Age. And then finally, Sarah the Agent. So Sarah the Agent is also set up for the Toronto Rock and Roll Festival. Plus she can redraw missions, so she's feeling pretty bold. She's also going to choose Toronto Rock and Roll. All right, so then everyone reveals. So now we have two players that are going to the same place at the same time, and that creates a paradox. You can't have two Sarahs traveling to the same zone at the same time. We also have Sarah Primus traveling to Forest of Dean. Let's not forget that that's going to happen, even though no one traveled there. She still seeds that zone with Sister Hannah. We resolve paradoxes before we actually do any play. So since these two characters paradox, they instantly lose their special abilities. So Sarah the Agent and Sarah the Pilot go away. And out comes Sarah the Kidnapper and Sarah the Paleontologist. So now they have slightly different powers. And then the current chronologist is this first player, Sarah the Kidnapper. Now the chronologist actually chooses the order of operations during a paradox. So when we get to Toronto Rock and Roll, she will choose who gets to try the mission first. But we will we'll hold on a minute and get there. So, but again, when we go to resolve, we start with Southern Pangea. Nothing happened to Southern Pangea, no one traveled there. Then we go to North America. So Sarah the Engineer is actually going to go first. So she's going to drop off Audrey the Survivalist, who solves this mission, and she's going to pick up the Forest of Dean character. So that gives her a nice steady influx of missions. And she's going to use her special ability to drop off. Actually, she's going to use her special ability to drop off Gus the Friendly, because she doesn't want to go to Dinosaur Land with that particular character, and she draws someone new. So new characters come out. We get to Forest of Dean. Sister Hannah is dropped off. And then finally we get to Toronto Rock and Roll Revival. So Sarah the Kidnapper is currently Sarah Prime, or currently the chronologist. She's going to choose to try to do the mission first. So when she chooses to go first, the chronologist icon goes to the player who loses out in the paradox. So since this player is going last, that player ends up with the chronologist. So the next time that there's a paradox, she gets to choose the order of operations. So Sarah the Kidnapper is going to, she has Tony Hawking, which allows her to solve this mission. She's going to use Titan the Pack Rat first, actually. That's even better. So now she has, which in Titan's hero power allows you to discard any time to draw 2 new companions. So now she has plenty of Toronto Rock and Roll Revival characters to solve this mission. She has 2 guitars. She's going to need to leave the dinosaur there, and then she has the wild to count as a pilot. So these allow her to solve the mission. She gets the 7-point mission, and a new mission comes out, and a new companion comes out. And then she draws up to her 7th card. So finally you have Sarah the Paleontologist, who really wanted that last mission and now is trying to figure out what to do with her, this new turn of events. However, she has a new power, which allows her to move characters that belong in Southern Pangea to her. So she's going to use her new special power to bring this character into play. So now she has the researcher icon and a wild. So that's 2 out of 3. She just needs to choose. She just needs 1 more card with an explorer hat to sneak past security. So she still gets doesn't get the 7-point mission, but she's not left entirely out of the cold. And then new characters come out for the ones that were replaced. And that is the end of round 2. Okay, so we've sped the game forward in time to the last round, the final round. just to kind of show you what endgame and then endgame scoring looks like. And we're going to have each player is going to make a choice again. So here we have Sarah the Kidnapper is looking at where she wants to do her final play. There are no fun missions in play at this point, so she's just going to go for the highest point score and try to join the Outlaws here in Norman, England. So she's going to choose Norman, England. Sarah the Engineer has one really obvious play to go to the Ice Age. She wants to keep her cardigan still in case, so she doesn't want to travel to Toronto Rock and Roll. And she definitely, but Southern Pangea isn't a bad play either. But she really wants to end up with the most science icons at the end and not this person. So she wants to get that science mission. So she's going to go for Ice Age. And then finally, the final character here who's secretly collecting his dinosaurs. Because again, these objective cards, though they're on display here in the camera, they're hidden from each other when you play. He wants to keep all his dinosaurs, so he really only has one play. He's also going to Ice Age. Okay. So then we're going to reveal, and of course there's going to be a paradox between these two. So their Sarah powers are going to be discarded. And new ones are going to come into play. So this character is going to become Sarah the Hunter, and then Sarah the Gunslinger comes back around. So this character will be Sarah the Gunslinger. We're going to hit Ice Age first, and this character, or this player, is the current chronologist. So the chronologist gets to choose who's going to resolve first, and of course the chronologist is going to choose himself. He or she really wants Compy, so rescuing Compy is part of the secret hidden objective. So we're going to rescue Compy and then put down Amintus the Cold. He gets a token for rescuing Compy. As you can see, this player has rescued a lot of Southern Pangea characters during the course of the game, so it might be kind of obvious that this is the special goal. Since it's also she's also Sarah the Gunslinger, she's going to mess with Sarah the Hunter, who's the second kind of person in play, and make her discard a card and draw something in the hopes to foil whatever plan she had. And then this mission gets cycled out, a new one comes in. Okay, so now Sarah the Hunter becomes the new Sarah chronologist. So Sarah the Hunter is looking at this set of missions, and this isn't going to help her at all, actually. So she still wants the science mission, and now she's behind in science mission cards because Sarah the Gunslinger has 2 science and she only has 1. So that's a point difference at the end of the game. So that's concerned. She's already meet her hidden objective, so that's a good thing. But she needs 2 Ice Age tokens. She doesn't have what she needs to solve this mission. So she's going to use her special ability, which is remove any companion in play and draw a new one to replace it. So she's going to try to remove Wolfie the backup drummer and hopefully get something better. Now this is a risk. This could pay off or maybe not. She's going to go ahead and use her hunter ability to get rid of Wolfie the backup drummer and hopefully hope for something better that helps her solve the mission. All right, so that's going to help her immensely. She has Audrey the Vagabond. She can play her, and then she's actually able to solve this mission and get the science points that she wanted. A new mission comes out into play. She draws her hand back up. Okay, so then Sarah the Kidnapper goes. She is going to use her special ability to swap 2 companions. So she's going to swap, in Norman, England, she's going to swap the Sid the Lizard and the Old Woman of Eli, which gives her 2 castles, which she needed, and the pilot. So now she's set. She can solve that mission. She doesn't actually need to play any cards or put any down because the criteria is already solved. She's just going to keep her hands, solve the mission. And then finally, Sarah Prime drops off Tony Hawking in Toronto Rock and Roll. And that's essentially that would be the end of the game. So now you would total up your points. Okay, so now we're going to do final scoring. So the way you score at the end is you count up the number of points you got from missions. So Sarah the Kidnapper has 19 points from the set of missions. This is 4, 8, 16, so 18, 19 as well. 4, 8, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 19, 19, 18 just from those. Then you also add up your zone tokens. So 21, 21, we're still kind of close, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So now we're at 19, 19, and, or sorry, 21, 21, and 22. There's a scoring bonus that you get for scoring the most missions of a single type, the kind of the select set collection mechanic. So we have 3, this person has 3 adventure missions, so he has the most of the adventure missions. So that's plus 3 points for him, putting up to 25. Here we have a tie for the most researchers, and when there's a tie, no one gets points for the researchers. And then this character has this player has the most fun mission, so that's plus 3 points for them. So that puts us at 24, 21, and 25. And then we have, or 24, 21, and 25. And then we have the hidden objectives. So at the end of the game, you also reveal your hidden objectives. Seize the Days was the Sarah the Kidnapper's special objective, where she wanted more fun missions than any other type of missions, which she succeeded at. So that's plus 4 points there. So that puts her at 28. If I did the 19, 20, 21, 25, sorry. 25, yes, 28 with the plus 3 bonus. This person's objective was to solve a mission from each zone. Wasn't able to do that. Got close, but didn't solve a Southern Pangea mission. So he doesn't get his bonus, so his score stays at 21. And then finally, this person's secret objective was to collect Southern Pangea characters in his hand. So this character, or this player, was supposed to collect characters in his hand, Southern Pangea characters in his hand, and he had 2, plus he had Compy, which is not a great card in the game, but is worth 2 extra points, so that's plus 4. So that puts him at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 25, 26, 7, 8, 29. So she's the winner by 1 point. And that's how you score Sarah's Singularity.